Hello and welcome to this edition of the Intermodal Logistics Podcast, coming from Long Beach, California at IANA, the Intermodal EXPO. And joining us, well, first of all, my co-host, Shelli Austin, president of InTek Logistics, and I'm Kevin Baxter. And joining us is a returning guest who we keep bumping into, though I've never bumped into you in person until here. Even though you live one state over from us, it feels like I probably should.
We're glad to be here.
Yeah. Jeff Brashares, the Director of Intermodal Sales for CMA CGM. And let's start with just talking about the environment, because you've both been coming. I don't know if you did figure out the exact number of years that you've been here, but you've both been coming to these for quite some time. Take the temperature, I guess, of how people are feeling about intermodal at this edition of the event.
Well, I'll jump in, Kevin, to start things off, because Jeff and I have been coming to this event for a long time. I'll let him give the number of years, just so he can age himself and not me. But we have been either coming to the event or speaking, or, Jeff previously was on the board.
Correct.
I think each board Jeff was on, he then put me on that seat. So I'm so
Correct.
I'm so grateful for him on that. But I will tell you, I think there was a lot of interesting excitement early on when we started with doing IANA, and then I think that we're seeing just new excitement this year. I mean, we've got a lot of new things happening. There's a lot of crazy things happening in our industry. The services, a lot of new opportunities there, and so I think I feel it. I don't know about you, Jeff, but I feel there's kind of this revigoration of excitement.
Mm-hmm. So go back to the old days. This started more than 30 years ago as an intermodal meeting in Atlanta with a guy by the name of Nat Welch. The Intermodal Association of North America took this over at some particular point. But back then, we didn't have cell phones and all the things we have to see new technology. So if you wanted to see what a new container looked like, or a flat car, any of those kind of things, you went to Atlanta, and that's what you talked about.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a new announcement, Shelli probably has it in my email before I even can see it anyplace else. So it's a little different to her perspective, her comment and perspective. It's a little different than it was before, but the fact of the matter is she's been doing this for a long time, as have I. This is my 53rd year in the intermodal business. All of your customers are here, everybody you want to talk to, and for us, it's all about relationships. So this is a great place to be. We've been in Long Beach, 5+ years?
If not longer.
And and we're probably going to be here for at least 5 more years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you touched on it right there. I mean, obviously, you have ways of communicating with people. However, there's text, there's email, there's social media, whatever. But how important is it even more important now, really, to know that, okay, I've got this spot on the calendar where I'm actually going to see people and make face-to-face relationships.
So Jeffrey is a relationship guy. Like I mentioned, I've been here for 53 years, and before we had cell phones, we had telephones, and you drove to see your customers, right? Yeah. The most important part of this business, I think, is relationship. I was looking for somebody to be on a panel probably 25, 30 years ago. And Shelli and I have been speaking together for a long time, and we've been good friends. And as I've moved around and done other things now at CMA, she's been a very good customer. And that's what you want. You want people to come and follow you because they trust you and respect what you do. And I think we both feel that way about our customer base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Kevin, I mean, we all lived through the COVID time when we couldn't see everybody face to face, and so I think that's why it's just super exciting now. I mean, because so much more gets done when you can meet with somebody, you can read their reactions better, you build a further relationship than something on a screen. Mm-hmm. So I love the fact that we're able to come and meet with people, and this is the place to do it, and we get the beautiful view of the ports, right?
Amen.
Yeah, I know it's. There's plenty of reminders, like equipment-wise and location-wise and everything, and we still definitely have at this conference the new technology as well. You get to see it and maybe take it for a test drive too, if you want to as well. So yeah.
And I think Shelli said it best. You look out your window, you think about import containers and what's going on, import export. It's right across the street from here, right? Yeah. So for a place to meet, Long Beach has been wonderful because it's such a transportation hub for international and domestic.
Yeah, and let's not forget, I mean, because Jeff is a very big part of this, and again, he's helped me kind of grow in the industry, in the organization as well. But I don't know of any other conferences that we go to that have so many future leaders. Like we have colleges here, and we have a scholarship program that is, I think, it's just amazing, and it's grown so much. And you see all these college students here, and they're watching all
Amen.
of the people. They get to associate, they get to meet them, they get to maybe talk about internships. I mean, it's really neat.
Before COVID, we used to take buses because I was one of the chaperones that would go, and they would have 2 or 3 buses of college students, and we go to the Union Pacific ramp or the Santa Fe ramp, or we go around the port. It's something that people don't get to see, right? You think about all the people in this business that have never been to a ramp or a port.
Yeah.
From an educational standpoint, I think IANA has bent over backward to help young people.
Oh yeah, and think about it. If you were in school, I mean, I didn't get to go actually physically see places like that when you look at it in a textbook, right? And so these people are actually getting to see how the sausage is made, see the actual ramp and how things are lifted, and I think it's awesome.
And go down on the floor. Look at all the people that are here. It's more technology, like you just said, than it had been before. But it's technology. It's what happens at a ramp. It's dray people. It's railroads. You really get it all here in one place in a 3-day period.
So for CMA's perspective, what do you accomplish? Obviously, you're looking to make those connections, keep those connections, cultivate those connections. But is there anything in particular that you're talking about right now from your perspective with the folks here?
Of course, everything that goes on right now is about what our import is, what kind of import we're seeing in the company. From my perspective, we have a 400 people broadcast group. And so think about going out, trying to go fly and see 400 different customers, right? Everybody is here that is anybody, and everybody's concerned about what's going to happen next week, next quarter, the rest of the year. So for us, it's a good place to be. We're the domestic arm of CMA CGM steamship line. We expect to be number 2 in the world as far as what we're handling, and it means more opportunity for us to help people like Shelli and the other intermodal marketing companies with their domestic business.
So we've had you on to talk about the ocean box repositioning.
Yes, sir.
But since we're here and maybe somebody didn't watch that episode before, take us a little bit through what the domestic intermodal is that you're selling and working with CMA CGM on.
Our first interest as a steamship line is obviously international, so import-export. We get a lot more boxes imported than exported. And for us, we are a backup to what does not get loaded export out of this country. So if you draw a line from Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Louisville to Atlanta, we load international steamship boxes with domestic freight back to LA, Oakland, Portland, and Seattle. So we supplement what the export people do. Rather than move an empty container, we're looking for freight from people like Shelli that are going back to the West Coast. Think of dense freight like beer and wine and paper and all those kind of things that'll fit in a 40-foot box. So that's our job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kevin, I think what's important is if we listen to the numbers that we've heard kind of with intermodal perspective, right? We've heard from Larry Gross and everybody else that the domestic, let's put in traditional sense domestic, which would be the 53 footers.
Correct.
Those that hasn't grown very much, maybe just a percentage or a half a percentage. What's really grown is international. So if you think about that, international has grown, and that's on the import side, and that in turn is what we can take advantage on and for growth with our customers with this program. As Jeff, his company brings in all this extra intermodal that comes in the import side, we get to then grow our business and find opportunities to send those back to the ports and do the domestic piece of it in those smaller boxes. So for us, we enjoy having this relationship because it is right now with what we're dealing with in our market is one of our growth areas, and we can't say that for a lot of what we're doing right now.
5 years ago, there was not a domestic program at CMA, and our president at that time brought me here to work with the finest group of domestic intermodal people I've ever worked with to put a program together, and we've been very successful. A lot of it has been relationship with people like Shelli because we've been doing business together for a long time. She's always looking for a better way to do business, and that's an advantage to us.
Yeah. So you mentioned some commodities that make the most sense. do you have like an extra layer of convincing to do for people necessarily because of the 40 versus the 53? Is there something that kind of holds people back sometimes with this, or is it, you tell them like this works, this will go the route that you need it to go, and
it's interesting you asked that question, because when I got here, I was thinking about, I've been selling 53-foot business all my life because I was in an intermodal marketing company like Shelli, and I'm thinking, how are customers going to receive this? And I will tell you that we launched this program on March 11th of 2021, and we were immediately successful because the service and the cost and the communication we offered were what people were looking for. Smaller IMCs probably are where you say you have to do some convincing, right? They've always done 53s. It's a little different doing a steamship line box. But people like Shelli and our larger customers who have done this before, it's a pretty easy sell because of the pricing and service.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this before too. There's an environmental benefit to this as well, because
correct.
Instead you're not transporting all these empty containers across the country and dealing with that. You're actually taking advantage of the space.
This company is very big on the environment. We do a lot of things to support the environment. We have a presidential family who's a big environmental supporter. So we're all for, cleaning up the air. I have grandchildren, so I want them to be able to be around and have as much fun as I am having in the environment. And we'd like to see that. But to your point, rail is much more efficient than truck. And we try to use that as a selling point also. But the fact of the matter is, I think that we offer a very good product with our rail partners, and people like Shelli have been willing to work with us on new opportunities where we've gone to get new lanes with the railroad. We're a big BNS supporter here, and we've done a lot of new things with them.
So do you have any other any things like in the pipeline right now that you're especially excited about right now?
One of the things that we're doing with another company, and Shelli is helping us pioneer that, is we have I would call it a load match program, where they post our containers that are in customer depots, and people like Shelli can see where they're sitting empty and do what we call a street turn to reload it. We want to expand that because it reduces the customer's cost, but they can also see where we have boxes and don't have to get on the phone and call somebody. Back to your technology, we're trying to use that to our advantage. So we're pretty excited about that right now. We're just starting down that path.
Right. So Shelli, for those who maybe haven't used the ocean box repositioning side of things, the actual procedure for them, it's really no different, right?
Well, there's differences, but once you know what those differences are, and once you get in a rhythm of how that it works, you can do it. We kind of like it because not everybody sells it, right? So we kind of like the fact that some people think it's complicated, but it really isn't. And it is a great resource and a great opportunity to increase the capacity of what you're offering the customer. But so it's almost like, people talk about moving from truckload to 53-foot intermodal space, right? It's not that hard. But there are some finer differences that you have to learn so you don't have, some issues with that. Well, it's kind of the same way if you go from moving 53-foot intermodal to moving ISO or domestic or repo for the steamships lines on the 40s. There's just a few differences that you need to make sure that you understand. And once you understand those, then it's not crazy hard.
And in terms of the actual, like the feeling for the customer, once it's once you've got it all situated, I mean, it's a pretty seamless journey. But
so for the feeling for the customer, I would say any of those transitions that I talked to you about, it should be completely seamless. That's what our job is, right? The customer shouldn't notice the difference. Actually, the customer should just notice the benefit. Yeah. Because if you're trying to transition them from one to the other, you're doing it for a reason to help them. So they should not have any complications or notice any struggles with it. They should say, "Oh, that was awesome. Why don't I do another?"
One of the fun things that we've done with Shelli and her company is with our railroad partnership is to be able to create some new lanes that never existed for customers because we had a demand, and they've been very successful. So for me, doing something like that's always exciting, right? And it creates something new for a customer that they appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, just an actual tangible example, Kevin, is a lot of when you look at a small box, it's for those, like Jeff mentioned, those heavier commodities.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you think about it, in intermodal, you have to make sure that you fill that void space and you do blocking and bracing so that the product doesn't shift and cause issues on the railroad.
Right.
Well, that's why it's like a benefit for the customers on those heavier ones, because they don't have to spend the extra money for extra blocking and bracing. They don't have to spend the extra time for the blocking and bracing. So that's where one of those benefits that once you work with them to understand why this is a great solution for them, it becomes something that they want to do more of. And then they start asking you, well, if you could do it here, can you do it here?
Correct.
Yeah.
Success breeds success, right? Once you get going, and I think with our customers, they've been very willing to try new things with us when the railroad's been willing to help us out, and I think we've accomplished a lot in the last 4 years. I really do.
So, are there any traditional lanes that are, as soon as it comes up, you're like, oh, this is it right here. This is a perfect fit. Are there some that are like, just always right in the pocket right there, and then are there others where you can do?
Absolutely. It's interesting. When I started here, Chicago was our biggest outbound location, and that has now moved to Memphis. That is our biggest outbound location because there's just a lot of business coming out of that area. So somebody will call and say, I have business in Memphis. Can you handle it? Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Well, Jeff, we really appreciate having you
Thank
here
you.
Again. It was great to meet you in person. As I said, we've had Jeff on, I think, 2 previous episodes.
Yes.
You were one of our first.
You were our first.
I will get to be first, number one.
Yes, number one.
So now you're our first live in California podcast guest as well. So we really appreciate it. And of course, is it CMACGM.com? Also, you can obviously work with Shelli to access the program. We have a lot of articles about the ocean box repositioning as well on our InTekLogistics.com website. And we appreciate it, Jeff.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you watching and listening to the Intermodal Logistics Podcast. You can rate and review us wherever you get a podcast. Drop a comment as well. And drop us an email if you'd like as well. It is podcast@inteklogistics.com. And the website, once again, is www.inteklogistics.com for more about InTek Logistics. I'm Kevin Baxter, and for Shelli Austin, we appreciate it, and we will be back with you next time.